Hey all, and welcome back to another build guide. As you can see, this guide will be on creating this awesome looking billboard. It's quite easy to piece together, so let's not wait any longer and get right into building this little gem. Alright, first off you'll want to find yourself a picture for your billboard. There's plenty of actual pictures on Google, so I'd suggest starting there, or you could always design your own picture. Here are some random pictures of old billboards that I found. The first thing I do is import it into Adobe Illustrator and adjust the size to what I want and crop the image so it's got a perfect square edge. I'm also creating a template for the crossbeams that will form the frame of the billboard. The paper I'll be printing on is tissue paper. I like this semi-translucent look when it's glued to the wood. You can also use normal paper, but I seem to prefer the look of tissue paper. In order to print on tissue paper, you'll need to tape it to regular paper. Remember to stick the tissue paper with the shiny side down. It comes out looking pretty terrible, but after a few minutes the ink will dry and it will look great. Make sure to cut out the image with a fair amount of overhang, because we'll fine tune it after we glue it to the balsa. As you can see, the template fits perfectly over the image. I'm using 1.5mm balsa as the main board surface, and I'll be using a spray glue to fix the image to the balsa. It's important to note that using PVA or other similar glues will cause the balsa to warp. I've found that using the spray adhesive works best. Any particular brand should do fine. Do your best to avoid wrinkles as you apply the image to the balsa. Starting at one corner and working your way across seems to work well for me. Now it's time to trim the excess away. To help the billboard stand out, I put a border around the image and I make sure the border overhangs the image by 1mm or 2. I'm using some scale lumber I picked up from the hobby store. The border is made from 4x8" HO scale lumber. To glue everything together, I'll be using some super strength hobby tack glue, and I found this stuff to be fantastic and very strong. And don't forget to tidy up the edges. A very light sanding is all that's usually needed, and I'm using 1200 grit sandpaper. Using sandpaper that's got a higher grit is usually better for two reasons. One, it gives a smoother finish, and two, a smaller amount of wood gets removed each time you sand, so you're less likely to accidentally oversand your model. Don't forget about the back of the billboard. Often this is more interesting than the front. I'm putting some bracing across the back to add detail and interest. Any design will work and will always be better than just the bare board alone. A very useful tool to use is a chopper just like this one. It makes light work of getting multiple pieces all the same length, and cutting angles can't get any easier. And here is why I made the template. Getting precise spacing is much easier. You'll probably find it easier to start at the edges and work your way into the middle. Here I'm creating a bit of a beveled edge for the top of the legs, not for any particular reason except that it looks good. And again, don't forget to sand the small imperfections. For the front, I decided to go with a wood slat design and create a boardwalk for the guys who have to stick up a new sign. But before I can attach the boardwalk, I need to make the support legs that attach to the rear. Again, you can get creative and make them as complex or as simple as you want. I decided to go for the middle ground and build something easy, but still looks good. It's just about what level you feel you're up to, and remember to take your time. It's a good idea to use something to help you glue the legs on straight. Here I'm just using an old piece of wood that's got a right angle on it and marked out the leg positions. As long as the main legs and the rear supports all line up with the marks I made, then I'll know they are on straight. The really good thing about this glue is it's super tacky. I don't need to spend much time holding parts together waiting for them to make a good bond. With this glue, as soon as the two pieces touch, they're pretty much good to go. Now the rear supports are done, I can finish the boardwalk. This is a relatively easy thing to do. It's amazing how this small detail really brings the model to life. If you leave small gaps between the wood panels on the boardwalk like you'd see on a deck, it will look amazing, much more realistic. And finally, I felt like there was something missing when I stood back and looked at the model, so I added some more wood panels to the base. And there you have it, a great little detail you can add just about anywhere on your layout. But remember, watch your step if you're using it to get that one and only railfan photo you've been chasing. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed the build. I try and post as many videos as I can, so if you want to stay up to date with my latest releases, please subscribe. And I have plenty more videos and ideas on the way. In the meantime, feel free to check out the channel and see if there's anything else there that you like. Cheers and thanks for watching.